Hello, Ian. How are you?
Hi, July. Yeah, good, thank you.
Yes.
And you?
Marvelous. I'm
Marvellous.
marvelous.
We both had a bit of time away.
Haven't we just? Yes. Summer holidays. Well, summer.
Oh,
summer
yeah.
in inverted commas anyway.
Yeah, well, we're halfway through. The time's going by quickly. We were out at an outside event yesterday, actually, the radio station.
Yeah.
We got to speak to these couple of 11-year-old boys that came up to request a song.
Oh, really?
And they would. I was just asking them if they're enjoying their summer holidays, and they said it's just going by so quickly. What we've had so far is almost feels like one day of school. A funny way of putting it, but what they meant was, you know, it's almost they've had 3.5, 4 weeks, but it feels like one day of school to them. So, you know.
Oh, I am finding it hard to get my head around it, but never mind.
I know. Yeah. That's that life from the perspective of an 11-year-old.
Anyway. Oh, I have that every day. Don't worry.
You have an 11-year-old. Yes.
Literally.
Yes. But talking of children and also offspring, we do have a guest, don't we, today, if you like.
Oh, who might that be?
We got my son Daniel on the line with us today. Daniel, hi.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, hi, Daniel. This is a good surprise, isn't it?
Yes.
That shocked you, didn't it? Yeah. So you'll get the perspective of a 17-year-old today.
I am so excited for this.
Yeah. It's all right?
Yeah.
So it'd be good to see. So it just adds another dimension to the conversation today.
Oh, it certainly does. And Daniel, may I ask what's made you come here today?
Well, I've actually wanted to sort of just sort of experience what it's like to be on a podcast, because I've seen a few podcasts, watch some stuff online, and I thought, because I listened to some of the chats that you guys have, and the topics are really interesting. So I thought it'd just be a good experience to come on, if you're happy to have me on, and looks like you are. So yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm literally just can't wait for this conversation. And as usual, we never planned this.
That's right.
Anything that's going to come out literally just going to be organic. But I think this is where the gold actually is, isn't it?
I think so.
I agree.
Yeah, excellent.
Put on the spot. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I'm think you're going to get away with not being on the spot, Ian, by the way. You might get the question after all.
All right. Okay.
Anyway, what we're going to talk about today is transformation. Transformation is a big word, and change basically is another word for change, but it can scare people a lot. And this is why one of the reasons why we never really make that big leap, the step forwards to do something that we always wanted to do. We always keep it inside of us. We see other people doing it. We see we admire others making those changes that we always wanted to make, but we just never do it ourselves. And one of the reasons why is that because our brain puts us into this stage of, oh my God, it's going to be too different. It's going to be unfamiliar. It's going to be uncertain. I'm never going to make that happen. So all the stories start to come up, as we've been talking about in the past few episodes. Yeah. And just recently I had a call with someone, and it was the perfect example as to how this transformation, the change, can be so easy. And because it wasn't a matter of changing your whole life and turning everything upside down or anything like that.
Okay, I suppose so. That makes us think perhaps to do these things are difficult and big things. So what you're trying to illustrate here is it's not a big thing. It can be not a big thing.
In terms of the step that you're going to take isn't necessarily so big as much as you think it is in your head, but the actual effects of it can be so big. But before I start dishing out what is it that is going to, the effects and everything else that I want to talk about, I want to ask Daniel, our wonderful guest today, what's in your head when I say change or transformation? What comes up for you, Daniel?
Well, I think of something that I suppose I'm trying to do at the moment, and that's like generally just self-improvement. Okay. So change and transformation might be for example, when I was in like year 10, 11, well, pretty much up my whole life until 10 and 11, I didn't really do any exercise. I was never really a big person in sports, you know, never into football. And then when I started joining sixth form, I thought, well, I could make use of the school gym. And I started going, and I ended up going every day of the week that I could do. So Mondays was off because it was something else. But yeah, so I went what I could do, and so that allowed me to see some physical transformation.
Okay.
And I think it also brought on some mental transformation as well in terms of tackling things that I didn't want to do.
Okay.
However, I still think I find that quite hard, especially with like schoolwork. You know, it's quite a drag to get going.
Well, you're not alone on that, so don't beat yourself up about it. It happens to every single one of us, even to me. Not that I'm the guru or anything like that. It happens to all of us because, like I said, it's a very simple thing. Our brain wants to keep us safe, and safe means don't do anything that you've never done before. That's all it is. And this could be the simplest thing, just to get up to do the exercise, just to start on that maths test, or start on that homework, or whatever, the exam preparation, whatever it might be. Just simple little things like that. Of course, for you it's not a simple little thing, it can be a big thing, but for me it could be doing a video, or it could be putting out content, or whatever it might be. It's just it can be hard because your brain is fighting to keep you safe. But as you've listened in the previous episode, it is not a matter of safety or life or death. Perhaps you were a bit apprehensive about coming onto this show today, and so far you're alive, so it's good.
Yep, haven't died yet.
Yeah.
I'll let you know if that happens.
Yeah, well, we'll probably know. Hopefully not.
I'll hear a thud next door. Yeah.
Oh, stop it. Let's not speak our life into existence.
No,
now,
we've dealt with that before. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
No, we speak goodness into it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We will speak goodness into it. And this is great. So so you said you started to make some changes in your physical activity level. So what made you decide to even do that?
Well, I suppose it was a change of friend groups, to be fair. I suppose that's the core change of it.
Okay.
I suppose I had, I don't know what you'd call it, a sort of a dodgy friend group. You know, we weren't committing atrocities, but you know, it wasn't the healthiest of friend groups. And then I sort of changed that up, and that led me to, you know, different things online, and you know, watching. You know, there's quite a few people nowadays who will put, you know, self-improvement content out online, a bit like yourself, you know, with transformation and change.
Yeah.
And it was just that sort of kick-started a mindset of, well, you know, just wanting to be better.
I love that. I love that. And of course, Ian, credit to you. You've been doing this work for 3 years.
Well,
And
that's right. Yeah.
fruit
Through
doesn't
wind
fall
and
far
storm,
from
and
tree,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this is kind of the ripple effects of the work that you've been doing now. It's starting to show. And you put it perfectly, Daniel, is the kind of, you're kind of the average of 5 people you surround yourself with. This is
Absolutely.
it's a famous saying from John Maxwell, and it's so true. Who we surround ourselves with, what we fill our brains with, affect every single thing in our life, because it forms the beliefs, it forms the self-talk, it forms the behaviors that we exhibit as a result, and the stories we tell ourselves as a result. And this is why I haven't been watching news for the last 10 years.
Right. Oh, we could have a field day talking about that and news. Yeah. And how biased or filtered or whatever it is. But you know, the central point there, we just got to be careful what we take on board, haven't we?
Yeah.
Again, we could, you know, I know that Daniel's very much into food. You know, he's talked about his exercise and his physical well-being and stuff. And part of that is, you know, what we consume as food as well. Again, that's another topic for perhaps another time. But it's all about what we take in is kind of what we get, in simple terms.
What you take in, what you put out into the world as well. And I love the fact that Daniel, you were aware that things weren't quite right. So you did eventually take responsibility to do that for yourself. And this is the thing, the turning point I was talking about, and Ian and I talked about this many times before, the sitting on the nail. People sit on this nail of pain and difficulty and struggle, because we are more committed to our struggles because it keeps us safe. We feel it's okay to struggle because that's the message that we get from everybody else and the news, the media, everything else. We don't need to struggle. We can just make a change, and change doesn't have to be hard. The person I spoke to recently, she was finding it hard to motivate herself to do anything, and she was just tired, and she was just like on this hamster wheel of going to work, coming home, crashing on the sofa. And we know how that feels, Ian, don't we?
Yeah,
And
easy to get into. Yeah,
easy to get into and very hard to get out, because that's becomes your comfort zone, safety, and you think, oh, I don't have the time for this, I don't have the energy anymore, and whatever. All it took was a 50-minute call with this lady, and most of it she was talking, I didn't even do anything. I was just talking, just putting a few different perspectives and giving some ideas. What if you did this instead? What if? And by the end of it, she was actually, her face literally as if you shone some light with a torch in her face. She was literally lighting up.
Yeah.
And she also have been practicing the gratitude audio that we give at the end of our podcast as well.
Yes.
And she practiced it every day for almost 2-3 weeks now. And yesterday I got an email from her saying that on the weekend, she's cleaned the bathroom, she's sorted out the understairs cupboards, it's given her more motivation, and she's actually starting to write little bits of notes for the book that she's been wanting to write for years and years.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So she'd really hit the rut and got stuck, and kind of, I wonder if she felt like there just wasn't time to do anything. Because I've been in this position when I've had far too, been overwhelmed by things. You just don't feel that you've got time to do anything at all. I suppose that's part of it.
Well, that's exactly what it is. As I'm tired by the end of the day. I come from work from at 7 o'clock. By the time we eat, whatever, it's too late. Yeah. Well, which is true, we don't deny that. Physically you get tired, and we talked about the energy drain in an office every single day. Of course, that is undeniable. Having said that, when you give up on yourself and you expect others to bring something to you, then you're never going to have the motivation to do anything. And I think this isn't even about motivation anymore. It's about a driver that's come within you. It's about inspiration. It's the fuel from within that's going to keep you going. It's not just motivation. Motivation can come and go. It can come from a friend. It can come from externally. It can come from this conversation. But what's going to keep you going is the inspiration within, which is the purpose, that why you're doing this in the first place. Daniel put it again perfectly. He wanted to change something because he was no longer happy with what was going on. And he had the awareness that this wasn't going to serve him for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, sums it up very, very well.
That's great. And so I just want to say, you've hit on a word there, awareness. We've used that word a lot because we talk about things being in the subconscious and, just not being aware of stuff, whatever it is, isn't it? That's quite a common theme.
That is, and it's in your subconscious, and we are so unconscious to it. We do it like it's part of us already. We are not aware of it until, we were talking about sitting on the nail, and moving from the nail is less painful than sitting on it anymore, because you can no longer put up with the pain of sitting there, pain of not growing, pain of being surrounded by people who are no longer serving you.
Yes, this is our good old dog sitting on the nail illustration that we've talked about on a number of episodes before. It's just easier to stay there,
easier to stay
painful.
there, easier.
It's going to be worse pain to get away from that, but the results then come. It's actually worth it in the end.
Yes, transformation as a result, it doesn't have to be hard, but it has to take something from you. You have to take some steps to doing it. Daniel said it. He chose. Now, he didn't have to. He chose to get out every morning or every afternoon, whatever, any day that he could, go to the gym. And the side effects of that was he's better in his mental stamina, mental well-being, and also just opening himself up to things. one of which is being on this podcast, putting
Yeah.
his views out here. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. Yeah. Daniel, what else have you seen? So you said about you finding it difficult perhaps to, get over that barrier of wanting to start that homework, whatever. Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
more about that.
Well, when something I find really difficult is, I don't know whether this is, I think this is quite a lot to do with what you said about having a purpose and having a like meaning for doing something. I don't really think I have that at all. So
Okay.
I might occasionally have motivation. I'll watch something, I'll go, yes, and I'll have that fire that's burning inside of me, and I'll get up and I'll do a big piece of work. I'll go to sleep that night and I'll wake up and it'll be gone. And so I find that I'll go to school, and on Monday I won't do very well. And by the time I get to Friday, I'll be working quite well. And then Saturday and Sunday come and it just resets it.
Yeah.
And so I'm never really making progress.
Okay. And I'm sure a lot of people resonate with that. Most people desperately want Friday to come and they dread the Monday again because of that. It's like a roller coaster, isn't it? Going up and down, up and down, up and down. And whilst that might give you some sort of, very short-term motivation, it won't keep you going for overall. So you said you don't have a purpose. I will say to you now, it may or may not resonate right now. You do have a purpose. You may not see it just yet, but you do have a purpose. I wondered if you would be kind enough to even share with us, if you did have a purpose, what would that be?
Well, I suppose purpose and future career get muddled up in my mind quite a lot. So when I'm considering, what's my purpose or why am I doing this piece of homework, it's very hard to say, well, I'm doing it because of this and it's going to benefit me, because I don't know what I want to do after I leave A levels. I don't know what job I want to go into. I haven't really decided if I want to go to university. I'm pretty sure that that's not what I want to do, go to uni, because personally I don't feel like it's worth it for me. But yeah, what I'm going to do after A levels, I really don't know. So that would be my lack of purpose. But what I think, if I did have purpose, what it would be, no, I really don't know.
I can say, just because Daniel's my son, I know him, intimately. He seems happiest when he's helping people and working with people and helping them with things they find difficult and whatever. That was one aspect of the job that he did, working in retail, that he enjoyed the most, was actually solving people's problems, sending them away a bit happier than when they came to him.
Yeah, it sounds a bit cliche, but it is true. I am happiest when I'm sort of helping others. So I did some work experience at primary school, and I found that really rewarding, because you can shape their lives for the better, and you can sort of steer them in the right direction. And even working at Curry's PC World, like it was some of the best times that I've ever had. An old chap came in and he wanted to buy a gaming headset for his son, and he had no idea where to begin. And so helping him with that and making that experience smooth for him, it was really rewarding.
Yes.
So yeah.
And I'm sure it was rewarding for him as well, because he probably were one of the only people who knew what they were talking about in the area. Anyway,
possibly.
Yes. We won't go into that here, but coming back to your purpose and the question you asked. So, Daniel, perhaps if we see you again on this podcast, and maybe we will now, I'm going to give you a homework, because I don't think I don't think it's fair to put you on the spot right here and now, live on our chat.
Well, you can give it a go, but
okay. So instead of thinking, what do I want to do in 2, 3, whatever years from now?
Yeah.
What if you thought about, who do I want to be? And how do I want to feel 2, 3 years from now?
Okay.
And that's so different, isn't it? Because I mean, it's great. You know, Daniel's going through A level. He's done 1 year of A levels. He's got 1 more year to go, and then you know, he's in that time where people are trying to shape you, advise you, and it's all about what do you want to do, and you know, what's available to you, and all that. But you know, you've just hit some questions there. What do you want to be? How do you want to feel?
Who do you want to be, and how
who do
you
you want
want
to be?
to?
Yeah.
Because what, as we said before, gets you into this tailspin of, oh no, what, there's so many things I need to do. You get overwhelmed, and if you don't know what to do, then you get stuck.
Sure.
Whereas this who comes from within you. This is where the purpose. So you just said you really love helping people. You find yourself really, you know, great because you have that skill of knowing your specific subject on IT or headsets, whatever, and you're very good at articulating that information, helping somebody, because that probably changed that person's life in the fact that he wasn't frantically looking for this headset that he didn't know what to invest in, and he invested in the best one, and you saved him time, the energy, and perhaps money, and you changed his son's life because he probably is now enjoying the fruits of that investment. So, and that gave you the purpose. The purpose is to help somebody at that point in time. So who do you want to be, and how do you want to feel? And as a result, what would you end up doing will come as a byproduct of answering those two very main questions.
Refreshing way of looking at things, isn't it? That, yeah.
It is,
yeah.
and it is in a way that it will help, because that helps you work from where you want to be rather than work towards where you want to be. Because when you work towards where you want to be, you never get there because you're always going to be behind.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
have you lost Daniel here?
No, I'm still here.
Oh no, okay. I was just so does that make sense to you, Daniel?
Yes, yeah, it does. I'm not, well, say it makes sense. I'm slightly confused on, like, you know, who do I want to be? I don't know, you know, what possible answer I would give, regardless of you know, whether it's what I want or who I want to be. Okay. You know, I don't know what answers I could give.
Okay, well, so think about the person who has gone to the gym every morning, every weekday that he could. Think about the person who has had the awareness of separating from the friends that no longer served him. Yeah. What qualities did that person have? Did he have courage? Did he have you know, what else would I say? Consistency, some discipline, self-discipline, perhaps?
I think you've, no, I think, well, with that in mind, you know, I'd want to be someone who, you know, a virtuous person who you know, who can say, well, maybe not who can say, but who has, you know, courage, or, you know, consistency. I think that's who I would want to be, definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, have a think about a few more of those. What else? Who would you be? Who is that person who's gone to the gym, whatever? And then who else you would want to be? And then to help with the exercises, that you would then write down the character traits that you want to be exhibiting. Like, I don't know, being courageous, being bold, being confident, being disciplined. Whatever that might look like, you know, I couldn't think of any right now, but, you know, just a few more of these. And, you know, don't overthink it. Maybe go for a walk, whatever the activity that helps you feel at ease and feel at flow, go with that. And then ask the question, who would I want to be? And let it sit, and then come back to it. The answers will come to you. This is going to be an extremely great exercise, especially someone as young as you, who's literally just launched himself into this personal development journey. I mean, I just cannot wait for what this could really bring, because I know this is going to change your life, literally going to change your life. Not, I mean, this doesn't need to be so, you know, scary, but it's going to change the trajectory of your life. And yeah, so yeah, we could talk, and I'm just keeping an eye on the time, Ian.
Yeah, we'll have to chop soon, unfortunately.
We
You know,
will,
that's my
yeah.
usual bit, isn't it, to come in with the clock? But no, that's great. And I'm really pleased Daniel was able to join us today and give that real perspective, you know, that sort of third person into the conversation. And
Yeah.
I think, you know, hopefully other people listening can then think about where they sit on that sort of journey and what the things that are important to them and what they want to be and what they want to exhibit, because that's really what we're getting at today, isn't it?
It is, and I want to make sure that people understand. Just because Daniel is 17 and he's able to do this and it's going to change the trajectory of his life, doesn't mean that if you are older than that, and if you've done a long time in life, as it were, it sounds like prison, mind you, but you are a lot older, it doesn't mean that you can't do this exercise. I've changed my career at the age of 47 after working in the industry for 19 years. If I could do it at that time, if Daniel can do it now, you can do it. My son at 11 changed his primary school 4 months before he finished. As we know, you've heard this story many, many times.
Absolutely.
Change can happen at any time. It's just a matter of deciding what is it that is going to be and taking responsibility for it.
Brilliant. That's a great place to finish, other than to just say it applies. If you're a human being and you're alive, then really you can do this.
Yes,
we've said
absolutely.
before. Chulai, thank you again for joining us. Daniel, thanks for stepping up and
No problem.
coming in. And there you go, joining in with me. That's really thrilling to have
fun.
that.
Yes, it's been wonderful to have you, Daniel, and I think you're going to be a long-standing feature.
There you go. He's done it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Shame the podcasts. I didn't realize how short they were. Well, I don't know if it is short.
This is like one of the longest bits.
This is one of the longest, and there's over 100 of them altogether that folks can listen to. So it's all there.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Ian, and we'll speak again next week.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.